Welcome back to Worldview. Well, here we go again. Another family farmer is under attack by an overzealous state government eager to do the bidding of its big food financial masters. They seem to relish tying these local farmers up in expensive litigation and drive them out of business for breaking technicalities. Then the big food giants swoop in, buy them up for pennies on the dollar, and make it very difficult for consumers to exercise free choice and for these local family farmers to conduct their business. Well, in Stearns County, Minnesota, peaceful farmer Alvin Schlangen now faces up to 5 criminal charges with a possible penalty of up to 15 months in prison and $5,000 in fines at a trial that begins this week in St. Cloud. Now, Schlangen is no stranger to the inside of a courtroom. He was already prosecuted and found not guilty by a jury in September of 2012 in Hennepin County on 3 charges related to delivering food to members of a private buying club. Yep. You guessed it. Alvin sells raw milk through his private buying club, and as we've seen here on the program with Vernon Herschberger and Mark Baker, these governments stop at nothing to slow local farmers down. Joining us again on the program is Pete Kennedy. He's an attorney and he's president of the Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund. He works on dairy issues for the Western A. Price Foundation, which is leading the way to have an interstate ban on the transport of raw milk and its sale lifted and allow this more natural milk into stores across the USA. Pete, welcome back to Worldview.
Good morning, Dennis.
You know, I'm getting tired of us always having to meet this way. I'd love nothing better than to talk about how my Red Sox are beating up on your Rays, but alas, we've got to focus on more state silliness at the expense of another local farmer. Why are they going after Alvin?
Well, Minnesota is probably the most draconian state in the U.S. in terms of law enforcement. In addition to Alvin, there's another farmer, Mike Hartman, they filed criminal charges against. And these 2 farmers represent just a substantial amount of raw milk that's delivered into the Minneapolis area, the Twin Cities area of Minnesota. So I think the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, who is completely opposed to raw milk, believes they can significantly cut down the supply of raw milk if they can put these 2 farmers away.
So what are the consequences here for Alvin?
Well, I think his buyers club is set up where hopefully nothing will happen to him. But if, the prosecutor is able to snow the jury and there's a guilty verdict, his buyers club is going to continue. But I mean, he should, if there is justice, he should be acquitted on all charges. Just some of these charges are absolutely ridiculous, Dennis. There's this one charge where the prosecution is accusing him of distributing adulterated milk. And what's their basis for it? Well, there was actually a customer who happened to consume milk from the farm who became sick. There was a positive stool sample for Campylobacter. But the thing is, he's the only sickness. On his questionnaire before the local health department had him fill out, he also consumed chicken, which is a much greater cause of Campylobacter than raw milk is. There was no testing of the milk, so there's no proof, and they're still trying to convict him on this. And to top that off, as part of their evidence in this, they've got a report on another raw milk farmer from a veterinarian, actually an affidavit on how this raw milk farmer's milk was responsible for a foodborne illness. Well, number one, that has nothing to do with this case. That was another case. So if someone gets sick on a hamburger once, do you ban hamburgers completely because one producer might have gotten somebody sick? And number two, I'm not sure how strong the evidence is in this other case. And number three, the pathogen in that case was E. coli, not Campylobacter. So it has absolutely nothing to do with this case, and it just shows you the lengths the department is willing to go to smear Alvin and smear raw milk.
Now, as was mentioned at the top of the segment here, he won a jury trial. So how and why is this not double jeopardy for him?
Okay, it's actually two of the charges are the same charges that came up in the first trial. but they're different incidents. So even if it's the same charge, if they want, they can just keep charging you forever. If they can come up with a different incident, different day, that's an additional charge. So it just shows how desperate they are to put him out of business. And some of the other charges are crazy too. I mean, there's one charge, they filed a criminal misdemeanor charge against him for having his eggs, storing his eggs, refrigerating them at too high a temperature. I mean, that's something, you might get a write-up from an inspector on, but it ends right there. And for them to bring a criminal charge on that just shows that they're desperate.
Oh, crazy. We're talking with Pete Kennedy. He's president of the Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund here on Worldview with Dennis Campbell. We're going to play right now for you a little advert that somebody who you saw on this program, Mark Baker, put together talking about the work that these folks do.
Hi, my name is Mark Baker. I run a small farm here in northern Michigan that we call Baker's Green Acres. I'm a father, I'm a farmer, and I'm a veteran. In 2011, the state of Michigan Department of Natural Resources leveled regulation against me and my farm that surely would have put us out of business and me out on the street. Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund came alongside of us and helped us out with legal counsel. I strongly recommend that you join Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund and help us to fight back unnecessary government regulation pertaining to food. Thank you.
Now, Pete, what can be done to fight back here? Because this really seems as though they've jumped the shark.
Well, I think today, just with the internet, the word gets around so much more thanks to shows like yours. And what you really need to do is Alvin's being judged in a court of law. This department needs to be judged in the court of public opinion. So I think that just getting the word out about how over the top these enforcement actions are, how they really rob the consumer of their freedom of choice. I mean, this is an arm's length contract between this buyers club and any of the producers, including the raw milk producers that the buyers club gets food from. They should have the right, and the department's butting in there and denying these people the right to feed their families they want. So just getting the word about this kind of behavior and how they're trying to shut down our food choices is important. Also, I think the state legislature needs to get involved too. They need to take a look at this. This is making a lot of people unhappy. It's robbing them of their freedom of choice, and they need to step in and either pass a law or they have the power of the purse over this Department of Agriculture. They can defund them for any raw milk enforcement.
Well, just another example of why the work you do for the Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund, along with Liz Reitzig and so many other good people, is so important to these local farmers. I don't honestly know what they'd do without you. Pete, thanks again for joining us again on the program.
Well, thanks for having me on, Dennis.
He's Pete Kennedy. He's an attorney and president of the Farm to Consumer Legal Defense Fund, and he joined us here on Worldview today from his home in Florida. And the work that they do, along with the Western A. Price Foundation, is designed to help keep consumer choice out there so that we all can decide what it is we want to eat, not just the big food purveyors. You're watching Worldview with Dennis Campbell. Stay right here.